Hello everyone, got something a little bit closer to my roots from the previous channel. We're going to play some standard Brawl. Historic Brawl isn't an event that's open to us at the moment. Going to play my Garruk black and green deck. So let's have a look at the deck list here. Yeah, so Garruk Cursed Huntsman makes a couple of wolf tokens, and when the wolf tokens die, they will put loyalty on Garruk. That's the only way to get loyalty onto Garruk. But you'll find your opponents really skirting around those wolf tokens because they don't want to destroy them whilst Garruk is in play, because you can easily get the emblem if you manage to destroy a wolf or sacrifice a wolf or have your opponent block one. So we pretty much want to get the emblem as soon as we can. We've got plenty of ramp in the deck, so we can replay our Garruk a few times if needs be. All the typical ramping Arcane Signets, Roiling Regrowth, Omen of the Hunt, things like that. And it's pretty much just a value-based deck really, so we've got things like Questing Beast and the Elder Gargaroth, just a good stuff list. Return of the Wild Speaker can refill our hand. And then there's a lot of spot removal in things like Hagra Mauling, Eat to Extinction. I don't have a board wipe in here, which I might find room for. Probably just take out the Reclaim Wastes and put a board wipe in there instead. But yeah, there's nothing really all that much to tell you about it. It is spot removal and ramp, pretty much. And then we've got the upside of some things like the Questing Beast and the Elder Gargaroth, like I said. Cogler is always a really good one. I've got an entire Brawl list based around Cogler as well, because that's a really good card. Thorn Mammoth is really good removal as well, as is Ugin. Card draw in Great Henge, as well as buffing our creatures when they enter. Yeah, it is pretty much just ramp and spot removal, and we're having some pretty good success with it, so let's get through to some games and see how we fare with this recording. Now this opening hand is... it's not great, but it's not bad. Get into a land, we can go Llanowar Visionary, try and get into another land, or just keep the Elvish Visionary in play and we'll have the Questing Beast the next turn. Yeah, we're up against Finn the Fangbearer, so I'm assuming that we're going to need a faster hand than this. Bloodchief's Thirst can get rid of Finn though. Yeah, we'll keep that. We've got the Bloodchief's Thirst. Yeah, we've got Bloodchief's Thirst, so we can get rid of their commander. And they start things off with a Snow Permanent. We will go for the tap land, so we've got enough for our Mana Dork on turn 3. Alright, going Elvish Warmaster, curiously, so that can give everything Death Touch, but they're a long ways away from that. Maybe we do just go Swamp into removal here though. Because if they get down their commander next turn, we can always Soul Shatter, assuming they don't get another Death Toucher into play. Yeah, I think I'll leave it a turn, and we'll see what their plan is here. I can't see it being anything other than an Elf Tribal deck, if they're running the Elvish Warmaster. So maybe it's just part of some Alpha Strike with Finn. Swing it in for 2 anyway. And there is their commander. Alright, so... yeah, we go for Wolfwillow Haven here. Onto the forest. And then play this down as a black land and we'll get rid of their commander. Now Altar of the Pantheon, so they can afford to get their commander out again next turn. That is Village Rights. I think we're just going Questing Beast and we'll start to try and outrace them here. If we get another land next turn, we can go for our commander and start making wolf tokens. Scavenging Goose, not really all that worried about that. Heartless Act is good to get into though. Let's get down the Mana Dork, and then we can definitely afford our commander next turn. Get into a land anyway. Still can't block our questing beast, so we'll continue to hammer away at them. And Yorvo we could get rid of with our Soul Shatter if we want to. I think I might actually do that because it's in the way of our questing beast at the moment. And then a Mirror Shield, that is 2 to equip, so they can't actually get that onto anything just yet. So before the end of the turn we'll go for the Soul Shatter. We can carry on swinging in with our questing beast. Another land for us. Let's... it would be good to hold up the Heartless Act, which I think we can do. Yes, we can. So let's just go for the Garruk. And that enters, so let's make some tokens straight away, and we'll swing in with the questing beast here.
You cannot run or hide.
If we don't use the Heartless Act at the end of our opponent's turn, we'll go Village Rites, and then we can minus down on the Garruk. Scavenging Goose is going to get rid of our Fabled Passage. Skyclave Relic, and I think they've kicked that. Yep, so it comes down with a couple of copies of itself. And still not doing anything, so let's sacrifice a wolf, draw a couple of cards and put a loyalty on Garruk. And there's a Return of the Wild Speaker. We will have a 5/5. Thanks to the emblem, +3/+3 and trample on all of our stuff for the rest of the game. And then we can take Hexproof away from something with the Mirror Shield, but they decide to blow up anyway. Yeah, we've got the emblem there. There's not a whole lot they're going to do about that. Let's play another one. Well, that is a grip full of black stuff. Yeah, I think we want ramp. I mean, we desperately want ramp in this deck, really. We don't have any green for that Elder Gargaroth, and it'd only be a turn 5 Elder Gargaroth anyway, so take the free mulligan there, and that is a lot better. So let's start things off with Temple of Malady. And I don't mind keeping a Vivian there. We've got a turn 2 Arcane Signet into probably Bastion of Remembrance. Hopefully we draw some lands in the meantime. Up against a Seeker God of the Tree and the Prismatic Bridge, by the way. And then just continuing to make Tricycle lands, and the World Tree will fix all of their colours. We get another land, so that can be a green one. And we'll just get down the Bastion of Remembrance at this point. Put our opponent on a 25 turn clock with the human. Now then, are they likely to hold up counter magic in this deck? I suppose we'll soon find out. Let's just throw down the Vivian. That comes down straight away. Gonna make a vigilance token so that we can both swing in and defend the Vivian. And we do have enough mana for our Garruk next turn. Just another tap land for them, and they continue to do nothing. So let's slam down the Garruk. And again, that comes down really quickly, so we'll continue to litter the board with tokens.
We are the apex predator.
We will adapt to any threat.
And now they've got their 5 mana up, they go for the Prismatic Bridge. That's a cultivate for us. Yeah, we don't really have anything that we can go for here. Let's clear something off the top. Lotus Cobra with the Vivian. Yeah, I don't think that there's much of anything we can do other than continue to wail on our opponent. It'd be good to minus on the Vivian, then grab the Kogler out of our library. But I think we're just having to outrace our opponent at this point as best we can. Probably going wide on them next turn. Grabbing themselves a Solemn Simulacrum, that's about the worst thing that they could have grabbed, I imagine. Yeah, our opponent was just too slow there. You really want a lot of board wipes and spot removal, some control in the early game, and our opponent just didn't have it. We'll try another one. Yeah, again, not starting off with any ramp there, so I think we go for a mulligan. We're up against Valky, God of Lies, by the way. We can see the commander before we choose our opening hand. And yeah, I don't really think much of that either, to be honest, but at least Valky can't get anything off us. Yeah, I'm going to go down a card there. Lotus Cobra, we go first, so we'll beat them to the punch by getting Lotus Cobra into play before their Valky. Yeah, let's keep that. Get rid of the Return to Nature. Now cultivate as well, so we're eager for a land next turn. Can always cycle the migration path though, in order to try and get into a land for the cultivate. Not playing their commander, curiously. Not going to swing in here just in case they've got a flash creature. There is the Flash Knight. I'm not sure if they'll run that or not. And that is 2 damage on there. I think we'll sacrifice that then, if it's going down anyway. We'll try and get into some lands. We'll be getting into a land next turn, so that is cultivate for us. Relic Amulet from our opponent. Charge counter goes on that. Remove them all, deal that much damage. So this is an instant and sorceries deck, I imagine. Let's go Faithless Heaven, or Faceless Heaven. Oh, we don't have... That's an error. Didn't put the snow lands in here, so I'll have to remember to do that after the game. Anyway, go for the Cultivate. Now Foulmire Knight. That was... you draw a card and lose a life. We'll just throw down the swamp, and it's straight into Migration Path, I think. Grab a couple of swamps this time. And then we can go Reclaim Wastes. Foretold a card there, I think. So that is probably... I think it's 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker. Which is probably what they're holding up here, assuming that we're going to go in for our planeswalker. Yeah, it's 4 damage, so it won't kill it at least. So we'll still go for that.
Leave me be and you'll escape with your life. Maybe. We are the apex predators.
Demon Bolt, I think it's called, or something like that. Anyway, 4 mana for our opponent. Well, just passing straight through the turn again, so we'll continue to make ourselves some wolf tokens. Yeah, we don't have anything too incredible available to us. We could have them discard some cards, I suppose. I'd rather hold on to this to get rid of their commander, though. There is a Feed the Serpent, exiling a planeswalker. We can recast that again if we want to. And then that Foretold card was Crush the Weak, so getting rid of our planeswalker before that. Foretelling another card over there, and 1 mana available. This can go... yeah, it's a target creature it can deal the damage to. And they get down a 1/1 Death Toucher, which I don't mind running the wolves into. Let's continue with the Garruk.
Stay on the trail.
That was a Frostbite onto our Planeswalker. They do have plenty of Snowlands, unlike us. So that was 2 Lightning Bolts, a Scorching Fire was the other one. So pouring a lot of their resources into getting rid of our commander. So the discard effect on this looking a lot more attractive now. That is a Cogler up against a Death Toucher, not really all that concerned about that. Let's just continue with the Garruk, and if they want to keep piling on the pressure onto that, that's fine. We can just actually start casting spells out of our hand.
A monster. We were born for the hunt.
Don't mind losing a wolf here. Okay, destroying one of our creatures, I dare say, just for the scry to try and get into an answer, but that will put loyalty on our Garruk for next turn. We do have the emblem available to us, unless they can get rid of the Garruk there. 2 on top and 0 on the bottom for the scry, and we get more loyalty onto our Garruk, so it's up to a 7 loyalty, -6 for the emblem, so we'll keep our commander when we go for the emblem next turn. Another planeswalker hit in play, and that can deal 2 damage to any target. Gets rid of one of our wolves, so even more loyalty for us. They've kind of given up on getting rid of the Garruk apparently, so we'll just go for the emblem while we can.
We're coming for you.
I think we have our opponent discard those 2 cards that they've got in hand. They had a Maskwood Nexus and a Heartless Act, so not the scariest cards for us, not until we get Coglet into play at least. Let's get rid of this Planeswalker so that we can start hitting our opponent with the wolves.
Wow, I'm tired.
And we'll put the regrowth in the graveyard. And then we'll go Elysian Grove and pass the turn at that. Can probably start swinging in with Elysian Grove next turn if we're not bothered about the mana. Surprised we haven't seen our opponent's commander yet. I guess they want Tibalt as opposed to Valky. Dealing a bunch of damage to a wolf to put some more loyalty on the Garruk. And then there's the Demon Bolt that I was referring to before.
Next time you're dead.
Do not mind recasting Garruk. Yeah, I suppose we could just do it right now, couldn't we? This is the Garruk Cursed Huntsman game. Make 10 power for 0 loyalty.
The apex predators.
Our opponent top decks a land, so we've pretty much got them next turn. Their Tibalt is 7 mana, 2, 4, 6 and 7, so they could exile one of our creatures. Instead, finally going for the 2 mana Valky. We can just swing into them and force them to block, so we don't even need to use the Blood Chief's Thirst. They go for the Coglet underneath there and say good game to us. So just deciding to leave it there, yeah. Like I said, we'd force them to block with their commander, and that would give us the Cogler back. We've got 2 5/5 wolves every turn, so managing to face off against all the removal, and we just ramp so much that we can just keep our Garruk in play, keep replaying it, and all the while we're not actually playing anything out of our hand. So very convincing one. Let's see if we can do it again. Well, it seems to be the story of this entire video is not getting into our early ramp. Up against a Seeker God of the Tree again, not sure if that's the same player. We do have time if it's anything like the last game, but I don't want to risk it. I just want to get the ramp going as soon as possible. That's slightly better with the Lanoir Visionary, so yeah, it's an Evolving Wilds into a forest, makes the castle come in untapped. We'll keep that. A tap Triome seems pretty typical from our opponent. Path to the World Tree. Search for a basic, put it into your hand, and for Wooburgen 2, sacrifice it, 2 life, 2 cards. An opponent loses 2 life, 2 damage to 1 creature, and a bear token. And Questing Beast is a nice one. Let's go Llanowar Visionary. And get into a forest for next turn, so even if this goes down, which I doubt it will, we'll have mana for the migration path. Get into our commander again as soon as possible. They are holding up double blue there, which is noteworthy. Let's go migration path. And then, are they likely to have a flash creature? We'll test it. They do not. Fabled Passage will bring a basic in untapped, because that is their 4th land. So I think the only colour that they are missing there is black. And then foretelling something, so that could be, for 2 mana, it could be Saw It Coming. So I am going to play around that here. And we'll go for the Questing Beast, see if they want to counter that. They are holding priority. Alright, Essence Scatter out of the hand instead. So, yeah, let's just swing in again and we'll shock them. They get down another red source, so still missing black. We assume that they want to go for the Prismatic Bridge, so they will need all 5 colours. So doing nothing this turn, we get an Arcane Signet. Are they likely to counter our stuff? If we go Arcane Signet first, we can still afford our commander. And we'll be able to afford it again next turn, assuming that it gets countered here. It looks like there might be a Saw It Coming. They've highlighted the Foretell card, but instead going for Negate. Yeah, I do think that that will be a Saw It Coming. And getting into that black source, that is Prismatic Bridge. We've got an Ugin available to us, which I think will do just to get rid of the bridge. They only have to get down 1 more land here, and they can get their Prismatic Bridge back into play. Another white source for them now, and they keep looking at that Foretold card. Anyway, Binding of the Old Gods gets rid of Ugin. And that is Grim Tutor. That might get a counter out of their hand, but that comes through straight away. Maybe it is Clackbridge Troll we just go for straight away here. We can't afford it though. Maybe it's just Cogler then, so that we can... Now, if they're going to go Prismatic Bridge next turn, it might just be something as boring as Return to Nature. I imagine they'll use Counter Magic to keep their Prismatic Vista. Or the Prismatic Bridge even, not Prismatic Vista. So, yeah, if they go for the enchantment again, we can try and blow it up. Skyclave Relic for some ramp. So that probably frees us up to get our commander into play. Although this comes in untapped, doesn't it? So they've still got 2 mana available. The last one on this is creatures get Death Touch. Don't really care about that. We've got 8 mana there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll need 2 more. Yeah, I think we just need to get them to use it here, if it is a counter spell. Disdainful Stroke. This playing out a lot more like I said it should. You do need to control the game in order to actually have the time to get your Prismatic Bridge out. So I don't know if the last deck was the same as this one and they were just unlucky, but this is how you want to build this deck. And there's the Prismatic Bridge. So first thing we want to do is try and destroy that thing. Oh, and that goes down straight away, so I'm assuming that there's no counter magic available to them. Maybe we just kick this here and go for a couple of lands. Go for one of each. That can be our command attacks. We'll go Soul Shatter if we want to get rid of any creatures or planeswalkers. It doesn't look as though we're going to. Going for the bridge again. Another Foretold card, but they are tapped out, so I think now's the time to start trying to stick Garruk. And they get themselves into a Kenrith, the Returned King. So they might be able to go wide on us here. Kaya the Inexorable, is that a... Yep, that's a non-land permanent. So this has gone absolutely perfectly for them. They want to counter everything in the early game and then get into removal for anything that sneaks down. An extra turn card gets them into a coma. Yeah, I mean, what were we going to do about this? And a Shark Typhoon as well, wow. Absolutely perfect.
Here, let me help.
They plussed on the Kaya there. Put the Ghost Form counter onto the coma. So when this creature dies or is put into exile, return it to the hand. And a Spirit Token is put in its place, so we can't even exile the coma now. Could force them to sacrifice it though with the Soul Shatter. Plus counter goes on a flyer with Kenrith. They're just deciding to tap out during turns now. So it is 10 damage in total coming through. And before they get the Serpent token, let's force them to sacrifice Coma. So that goes back to their hand. They'll have to hard cast that. We've probably already lost this one at this point. Scryland. Clackbridge Troll is not going to be good enough. Let's destroy the Kaya. And yeah, we can't hold up the village rights, unfortunately, but do we want Murderous Rider to chump block things with? We've got the wolves. Let's focus on Omen of the Hunt and the village rights this turn, I think. We'll chump block the Kenrith. They can give it trample for a single red, but we'll encourage them to use that mana at least. They probably get down Coma and give it haste and trample, actually. They get an Ugin straight off the top.
Without wisdom is the path of the fool.
And there's Coma. Haste and trample on everything. Let's exile the Coma. And they don't have any counter magic apparently. We will put that in the graveyard. Everything still gets the haste and trample. Don't think they've activated the Ugin yet. And they've probably got us here anyway, haven't they? They've got 5 there, 5 in the air. Yeah, I think they've got us either way. Taking us down to 1. Like I said, I don't think they have activated the Ugin yet, so they can just bolt our face. Yeah, there we go. So that was a pretty damn good game from our opponent. An absolutely perfect one for the Prismatic Bridge. Let's try and wash the taste out of our mouth with another game. Made a couple of changes to the deck very quickly during that game, completely forgot. I actually made this deck before Kaldheim came out, so Binding of the Old Gods wasn't in here, I decided to put that in there. And Vorinclex wasn't in here either when we've got the Garruk as a planeswalker in the command zone, so Vorinclex being in here makes perfect sense, especially along with Great Henge and stuff like that, but mainly because we've got planeswalkers in the deck. And I will put the Snow Basics in the deck and we'll get on with another game. Now then, what have we got? Well, we've got the 3 lands for the Roiling Regrowth, which takes us into Migration Path, so yeah, we'll keep that up against the dreaded Kaya, the Inexorable card that we were just struggling with in the last game. Get down the tap land here. Birth of Meletis will put a 0/4 wall into play next turn. They grab themselves a plains with that. We draw into the Vorinclex. Just holding up the Roiling Regrowth for next turn. Playing a Field of Ruin, curiously, when we know about the snow-covered plains. Tap land for us in Evolving Wilds. We're just going for the Regrowth. That is an instant speed card, so we'll see if we can get our opponent to play around some removal or something. Okay, they go for Field of Ruin, maybe to just fix their own colours. Maybe that was the plan. Destroy it. Each player searches. If we sacrifice that in response... I don't think we're going to get to search for 2 lands either way, are we? I'm just trying to work out if we go up a land somehow there. Anyway, we'll let it go down and we'll search for a snow-covered swamp. Might as well just go for it now. We'll get rid of the swamp and make 2 more. I don't think they're going to play around any removal or anything like that we might have. There's Mangara the Diplomat. Do we want an Elder Gargaroth in play of that Mangara? In the way of the Mangara? I think we want to guarantee having the Garruk in play potentially next turn. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so I think it might be Vorinclex next turn because of the haste. I'm assuming they're going to swing in here. They plus on the Mangara. Alright, Ugin is really nice. Do we want Ugin with a Vorinclex though? I think we go... they probably remove the Vorinclex straight away. Yeah, let's just go Ugin. It's a shame to not have the double counters come down off that, but I think the right thing to do is Ugin here. They'll get the Mangara back into hand. I'm assuming they're not going to have any haste. They do end up with a Spirit though to hit the Ugin with. And they could get rid of the Ugin anyway with Elspeth Conquers Death. Hit us for one with the Spirit. And now I think we can go for Vorinclex. If they get a land next turn, they can get rid of it with their commander. Is it 2 extra? Oh yeah, it's 2 extra, so we can go for the Garruk next turn still. Let's just go Vorinclex. Blocking with the wall, that's good to get rid of. So let's go Woe Strider. We can at least sacrifice it if our opponent does decide to point their Kaya towards that. Well, they had a Heartless Act, so might as well sacrifice it for a Scry. Replicating Ring, I don't think we care about that. I added in instead of the Bastion of Remembrance, by the way. Forgot to mention that. I thought that would be good with the double counters and the Vorinclex. Mangara the Diplomat might mean that we play our commander and minus it down. Hitting us with a Spirit in the air. Yeah, let's go Garruk. Get the Mangara out of play. And then Soul Shatter could get rid of their Kaya if they get that down next turn. So we'll just hit them for 3. Actually, we probably won't be able to cast this, will we? Not during our opponent's turn, anyway. So it's just Elysian Caryatid. Hoping that we don't see a land here. Oh, Baneslayer Angel. One goes in. Knocks Garruk down to 1 loyalty. We get a Castle Garenbrig. Let's just go for the 2 wolf tokens. And we'll get rid of the Baneslayer Angel with the Soul Shatter. And go Elder Gargaroth and hope that we're not playing into a board wipe. Returning either Baneslayer or the Mangara. It looks like it's going to be Baneslayer Angel. Really hoping that we keep our board intact here because Oh, Mothra. Well, they've got flyers in play at least. But yeah, I really want to go for the Return of the Wild Speaker. That feels bad. And should have sacrificed it there. Finishing off the Garruk.
I'm going back to the woods.
So this can be destroy a creature. And then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7 with the Elysian Caryatid. I don't think we can get them with Return of the Wild Speaker. That'll be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, maybe we can actually. Let's get the first strike lifelinker out of the way. Yeah, and then let's turn sideways and try and get them here. There we are, so just about managing to get them there. They were controlling the game nicely, but we just managed to throw out enough weenies and little creatures to get the overrun victory, which we will do once in a blue moon with the Curse of the Wild Speaker, or Return of the Wild Speaker. But that's really in there for drawing a lot of cards with a big creature in place, such as the Elder Gargaroth like we saw just now. So there we are, did pretty well there. I'll just go over the quick edits again. Decided to put the snow-covered lands in there for the Faithless Heaven, because we can't actually do anything with this if we don't have the snow mana to put into Faithless Heaven. The Vorinclex was good for things like Ugin, our commander, Great Henge, the Vivian. I assume it's going to be okay with Replicating Ring as well. We actually didn't run into Vorinclex more than once, I don't think, because I only added it halfway through the video. And then it was Binding of the Old Gods was added as well, because that just destroys a non-land permanent as well as ramps us. So yeah, I think it did pretty well there, and I have seen some pretty good success with the deck. There's some random bits of cards that you could change out, like the Black Lance Paragon. I just had one of those, and it is good for when someone's going for an Alpha Strike. You can gain a little bit of life and get rid of their biggest creature. Built it as ramp and removal pretty much. Often don't think much of Clackbridge Troll, to be honest. If you use it as a card draw spell, a very slow card draw spell, then yeah, I think that is the way to look at that one, because oftentimes they will just sacrifice the goats and keep you from swinging in. But other than that, I'm liking everything that we've got, really. Probably missing a board wipe, so maybe get rid of the Troll and replace that with a board wipe, or the Black Lance Paragon with a board wipe. But other than that, ramp, removal, get Garruk into play, and get the emblem as soon as you can on that. And we did see that once or maybe twice there, I can't remember. Anyway, the deck list is in the description, so if you want to play this one yourself, then feel free to go and check that out. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.